In the fallout of the Tyson Jones Jr. pay-per-view that ended in a draw and the one that I spent $50 on to watch, we saw some very fun fights on the undercard, and also for people in my age group, we got to see Mike Tyson fight for the first time. And as he said, was most likely not the last time, which is epic for us. The biggest name that caught everyone's attention was easily Jake Paul in his fight against Nate Robinson. Jake knocked out Nate in the second round of the fight, knocking him down a grand total of 3 times and making Nate look silly throughout the whole fight. The biggest question is, what is next for the problem child, Jake Paul? Here's 5 people I could potentially see Jake fighting. Hello YouTube, what's going on? It's Shane TK here, and I'd like to hop into 5 people I want to see fight Jake Paul next. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend, and happy Sunday, and let's hop right into the video right away. Conor McGregor. The 32-year-old UFC fighter, whose name is synonymous with Ireland, was the first name out of Jake's mouth post-fight. He is currently coming out of his 3rd retirement stint to face Dustin Poirier in January, looking to get back into the action after over a year hiatus from the UFC. He is currently 22-4 in the UFC and 0-1 in his boxing career when he faced potentially one of the greatest boxers to ever lace up gloves, Floyd Mayweather. In that fight against Floyd Mayweather, he actually held his own, but got gassed midway through the fight. Now, to say that he did well against one of the best boxers of all time isn't totally fair, considering this was Floyd's last professional fight to date, and he was 40 years old when the fight had taken place. A 23-year-old Jake Paul versus a 32-year-old Conor McGregor sounds insane, when in all reality, this feels like a fair fight. Jake seems like a legitimate boxer now, putting his whole life into the sport, even stepping away from rapping and one of the sexiest women in the world, Julia Rose, in preparation for the fight against Nate Robinson. Another pro for Jake with taking this fight is the money. This would be by far the highest grossing fight for Jake Paul's career, and would be spectacle, especially if you could get Logan or Tyson on this card as well as Conor McGregor. Since Conor can't throw a hammer fist or kicks in this fight, it seems like this could be fair considering how serious Jake would most likely take it. And if Jake beats Conor in his 3rd professional fight and his 5th fight ever, he could genuinely start fighting boxers who are more serious and even make a contender push, putting his name on the map just to accept this fight with Conor. Dylan Danis. If you don't know who Dylan Danis is, I'm not incredibly surprised. If you do know, it's either because Jake called him out or you're a huge Bellator fan. Dylan Danis is a 27-year-old MMA fighter out of New Jersey, my hometown, and is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He recently went to Bellator where he's been doing subpar, but has tried out boxing as of late. This is probably one of the most fair fights for both fighters, but it isn't a main event caliber type of fight. Already starting Twitter beef with Jake minutes after being called out, this is most likely to happen. In his jiu-jitsu experience, he has an official record of 18-16, but he has also faced some of the top competitors of the sport. A Dylan versus Jake fight would have legit beef, but I could see Jake taking this fight and beating Dylan with the experience he's already gained, but this would easily be the toughest fight he would have in his career at this point. CM Punk. Now, instead of putting Austin McBroom on this list, I want to put only people with fighting experience, so I add CM Punk to the list of names. Another fluff fight, if you will, just like Nate Robinson, this would actually help out both people's careers. CM Punk signed a UFC contract and had 2 embarrassing fights and is still looking for more action fighting-wise. The former WWE champion is nearing 43 and will be out of contention to fight in his career in the next year or so this could be the only fight he could get. This also helps out Jake Paul to get one more test run to show what he's got in an undercard and boost his record and reputation in the sport up, also helping an athlete have one of his last fights of his career. This is a win-win for both fighters, even if Jake Paul knocks him out in 10 seconds. I also just want to hear Cult of Personality one last time as we see the tatted, comic book-loving voice of the voiceless man known as CM Punk come to the ring. KSI. The man himself who made YouTubers boxing hot. He needs to fight Jake. While I don't think KSI wants to in the slightest, this is one of the biggest fights of his career. The 1-0-1 YouTuber boxer called out both the Paul brothers after beating Joe Weller, and now I want to see the other Paul brother put up his end of the deal. Jake would definitely have to put on muscle and get beefier for this fight, which would be his advantage, and even if they fight at 200 or 210, KSI would unfortunately still need to lose weight. 2 awful rappers with controversy ending this feud would be amazing. I think Jake would win here. KSI hasn't fought or done anything really remotely active since his fight with Logan, and I think this would end KSI's boxing career and his whole YouTube boxing era for now. It'd be a money grab and would most likely happen in late 2021 or even 2022, and everyone just wants to see the outcome and the end of KSI and especially the end of this YouTuber boxing thing. Logan Paul. The one fight I want to see most is the brother versus brother fight. No one knows each other better than 2 brothers, and the animosity would turn to something real for this fight. We saw in the diss track days how personal they can get, and they'd give it 110% for this fight. If you love the Pauls, this is a fight you want to see. If you hate the Pauls, you get to see at least one of them get killed. If you love Logan, you get to see him potentially get his first boxing win. And if you love Jake, you get to see him end the YouTubing boxing era with the end of Logan's career potentially. And if you love Julia Rose, well, we all love her. That's all, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed the Mike Tyson versus John Jones Jr. pay-per-view. I definitely had a lot of fun watching it, but I did waste $50 on it, which is 5 hours of me washing dishes, but, it's whatever. Make sure to go follow my socials, check out my podcast. I'm also on the the Fourth Man podcast. I almost call them Big 3 News because that's their Instagram. Make sure to go follow them at Big 3 News and at Fourth Man Pod on Instagram. And I make a 1-minute segment on their show every single week. I started my own podcast called Benchwarmer Banter with my friend Jaden. We only have one episode out of now, but we're going to have one soon. I will be interviewing Randy Orton in the next couple days. I will be on another podcast called Sellout Sports in the next couple days. The Shane 2K era is only heating up, guys. We're also on the road to 700 subs before Christmas. Might have to make it 800 subs before Christmas. But that's all, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday and the rest of your week. The next video you guys will see from me is either a Mike Tyson video, which probably won't happen, or my interview with Randy Orton's little brother, Nathan Orton. But that's all, guys. Everybody have an amazing day, and peace out.